It's a high chaos ball, a wobbler. Oh, Reynolds, favoured by the bounce. He's going to turn it round the body, and he's got enough on it.
Hi everybody, welcome to Before the Bounce. I'm your host Phil Smythe. Of course, I'm joined by the great Greg Anderson, McGarry medalist, SANFL, VFL, AFL superstar. How are you?
Well, good, but you were saying before you had a bit of an argument with the gentleman who didn't even realise I'd won a McGarry medal.
Well, it's a good. I'm glad you brought it up, mate, because I'm talking to this bloke yesterday.
Talk about how far I am now.
I said, I'm catching up with Greg Anderson. I said, he won a McGarry medal. I said, I think it was around 87, 86, 87. He goes, no, never won one.
Yeah.
I said, no, mate, I'll tell you right now, he did. I said, no, I'll be speaking to him tomorrow night. I tried to bet him $100, but he wouldn't take me.
Oh, geez, I wish you'd won the 100. I really wish you'd won 100.
I'll find out where he is, and you and I can go and have a chat with him. Hey, plenty to talk about.
Plenty.
Friend of yours, Bomber Clifford, coming on the show.
Can't wait.
Funny man.
He's a funny man. One of the greats at Port Adelaide. You know, three premierships, 3 best and fairest, and just a superstar as a clubman.
Is he humble?
Funny,
not
brilliant.
Humble, not
He's the
humble.
first to stick up for you.
Best and fairest. He was best and fairest.
3 times.
Beat Russell Eagle.
Yeah.
So was he underrated as a player? Because
No, not at all.
Not at Port Adelaide. Was he around the traps underrated?
Probably not. No. When you win
when
3
some
best
guys,
and fairest.
You know when some guys are funny, they think they're funny and they don't take them as seriously as the talent that they are. So Andrew Jarman, a little bit that way. You know, super talent, but everyone sees him as a comedian, so they don't rate him quite the way they should. They don't respect him the way they should.
I think in the football world, though, you're coming to play Port Adelaide, you're going to have to keep Bomber Clifford quiet. So in the football world, that is it. You know, and just a wonderful teammate and the first to stick up for you. Really was the first to stick up for you. Probably got a few gains because of it, but that's okay.
All right, well, we'll have a chat with him later on the show, so stay with us for that now. All right, now, Eddie and the Geelong Prez are having a little bit of stoush at the moment over one of the players. Of course, Jack Stevens got himself in a little bit of trouble. I mean, when you turn up at a hospital and you've been stabbed, that tends to get a bit of publicity.
Yeah, of course it does.
So my question is, does he need to come out? Eddie's saying that Geelong need to come out and say what happened. Geelong are saying, mind your own business. You didn't come out with the Dane Swan story or, whatever happened at your time. I see it this way. You tell me to see it differently. They have an AFL integrity committee.
Yep.
So I think he has to answer to them just to make sure that the game isn't in dispute in any way.
Definitely, yeah.
But once they handle it, that's the end of it. So if they say, we're happy, because Jack's obviously, there's some personal reasons that he wants to keep it quiet. I think we need to respect that.
Of course you do.
I don't think we need to hear why.
Eddie's got his journalism hat on. That's all he's got on. He just wants a story. He wants to get on Triple M. He wants to get in the papers. He's not thinking as a president, because as a president of Geelong, we'll go and have that meeting. We'll behind closed doors. We'll get that sorted out. So you haven't put the game in disrepute, and that's done.
Yeah.
Eddie's got no. I just don't understand it. He's looking at it as a journalism, which of course he is.
Well, it's risky when you're the president of a footy club, and so Geelong are to throw some hand grenades back, and
that's what ends up happening.
Yeah,
as you know, I mean, you're on this huge stage now, and everything players seem to do, it's scrutinised, and when you go even to the the AFL website, there's pages and pages of players that are getting scrutinised over very, very little things that you wouldn't even butt an eyelid just a year. Yeah. But it's a story.
Yeah. Well, we're going to come back to that a little later. So we need to get to a break. Then we're coming back, mate. Time to come back with humour or rumour. So you'll be under the pump there.
Good.
Stay with us. Yes, you're watching Before the Bounce. Time to get to rumour or humour, brought to us by Sandy's Mobile Hands Down.
It's a great name.
Do you know Sandy? Because she was at Port Adelaide. She was with the Magpies for 10 years.
And South as well.
With the men and the women for 3 years, with the magic hands. Mate.
She had the magic hands.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a great name for a business.
She can remedial massage and she can take care of those tight spots.
When you're talking to someone that knows about sports injuries and rehab, she's fantastic.
Get on her website, sandysmobilehands.com.au. So the first rumour I want to ask you about, Marty Matner, of course, he's been released by the Crows. Now, my understanding is that 3 clubs have spoken to him tentatively about next year. So there's a few nervous coaches around. Can you see Marty coaching before the end of this season or definitely next season?
It's a real pity he's out of the game. I mean, Marty's obviously a fantastic coach.
A great job at Stewart. Yep.
Back to back.
Yep.
He's obviously as a player, it speaks for himself. AFL Premiership and SANFL Premiership as a player as well at Sturt. Everywhere he seems to go, they win premierships. So I would be thinking, pretty like a side that hasn't won one for about 30 years. Let's get him in and get him in the mix, because he just seems to be blessed to win some premierships, Matty, and of course a wonderful player and obviously a great coach and a club has to be thinking seriously about getting him on board.
So you reckon there's a bit of substance to the rumour?
Oh, there's no question.
No question.
Yeah, Marty Madden can't be on the sideline just watching, over the fence or behind the box. He is such a talented coach and so well respected. And speaking to a couple of the guys when he was coaching Sturt, their son, they've had no better.
Yeah.
He'll. I reckon there'll be a couple of nervous coaches in the SANFL next year. If not, if he gets an opportunity again as an AFL assistant, somewhere, in one of the clubs.
And mate, you played in the SANFL. The players this year, of course, are being asked to play for nothing, or they're getting job keeper.
They get some job keeper. Some
of
them are, some aren't.
Some are getting a bit more than they were.
It's not bad either.
We're not allowed to, so we're not talking about that right now. Do you reckon it's fair? Across the board, now there'll be a couple of players that the higher profile ones that are obviously losing money to play. So my first question is, could you see those high profile players jump to the country? And we'll come back to the country because they've got their own money issues as well. But there's a few clubs that are pretty financial. Could you see, and he'd never do it, but Douglas, for example, with Norwood, he won't because of the quality of the player.
Yeah.
But that ilk of player that says, well, I can go and get $1,000 a game.
That's marquee price in the country, $1,000 a game.
$1,000 a game, cash. Or I can stay here and play for Norden, I get nothing.
You get nothing. Yeah, well, you've got to...
Now, Dougie will do that because of the type of bloke, but there's a couple of blokes that tend to be a bit
more
orientated.
He wants to win a premiership.
Yep.
And he's gone to Nord to win a premiership. So I'd say he's going to stay put. But there'd have to be some players that are thinking, well, I was looking at $300 or $400 in the SNFL. Now I'm sort of getting nothing. Yet 2 hours away, there's a paycheck for $1,000 a game. You'd probably consider it. Especially those players that have had full careers in the SNFL, the AFL, and just want to play the last couple of years for a bit of douche. You've got to think about it.
Yeah.
But how are those country teams going though? I mean, how are they running? I mean, at the moment, I've heard they're very thin as well.
We'll get to them in a minute because we come to the country round, so we'll have a chat about that when we get there. So this is a really tricky one. How many daughters you got?
I've got 3 daughters.
Okay, I've got 3 daughters as well.
Yeah.
So we're not coming from the blokes that don't like the AFLW. We don't want women to succeed in sport. Right now we're seeing all these cutbacks in the AFL. The AFLW loses a lot of money.
Of course, yeah.
So it's not going to be one where they're going, it's untouchable, which some people have suggested. It's clearly not going to be that. But is it at the point where you say, now if you're a business person and I say to you, mate, you've got your house and everything mortgaged against this business that you're running, and one part of it's dropping 10 to 20 million a year, are you thinking, well, I need to hang on to that, or are you thinking, I probably could let it go?
Well, there was big talks about letting go 2020 for the AFL, and that's where that sits up here.
Yep.
I think next year it could be a questionable whether the women's league actually plays.
Certainly
next
won't
year.
go in the same format that it's in.
Oh no. It's obviously it's very, very expensive to run.
Yep.
It's been very successful. It's been fantastic. Lost money.
Yep.
It's
been fantastic for women's sport.
Brilliant.
All of that.
But the AFL have no money.
Yes.
So how are they going to fund it?
Yes. That's
and as much as my 3 daughters and your 3 want to watch it and support it, I think 2021 is going to be a very questionable whether they even take the park next year.
All right. So I brought this up with a couple of female footballers yesterday, and they were very aggressive towards me that I was attacking women's footy, which I was not. So in the end, I said to them, okay, let me rephrase the question. If I say to you, you go and play, and whatever you earn, you keep, but whatever it loses, you have to top it up. Are you happy with that? Oh, no, I'm not doing that.
No, of course not.
But you expect the AFL to do it. So now on the other side of the coin, and we understand that we want the women to participate. So I'm not on that case at all.
Yeah.
I'm just saying I'm looking at purely as a business decision. You're not prepared to do it if you've got to put your money in.
Yeah.
But you're effectively asking the players and the coaches that are being sacked at the moment because there's no money to say it's okay.
Yeah. Well, there's
still going to be some friction, isn't there?
Well, they still got their main competition, and in the women's EFL and the SNFL women's, which is absolutely a fantastic league. But when the AFL has no money, and we're seeing cuts left, right, and centre, it's going to be very hard for them to say we're going to grab that money, we're going to put it over there because it's not there. So, and that's the issue. So like I said, I think it's very questionable. And I love watching. I think it's my daughters love it.
Oh, so do I. It's been terrific. It's been
But
much
if you
bigger following than I thought.
if you can't, if you haven't got the money to actually put it on the deck, and it's very expensive to play a national competition all around Australia, how's it going to happen? Look, I hope that someone's got a genie, and there's the money,
And it comes.
it comes, but I just at the moment think it's pretty questionable on how the AFL is just, and I'm saying just surviving at the
They're on
moment.
life support at the moment.
Because I'm telling you, Foxtel, I mean, they've got world soccer they have to worry about. They've got grit, the American football. They've got the basketball they have to worry about. They've got a lot of sports, not just little AFL football over here.
Yeah.
And this is a world pandemic.
Yep.
It's not just
So their budgets
Australia.
are a bit skinny too.
Cool.
So I think I think the AFL's doing everything they can. I think they're coming some pretty unfair criticism.
They've done a great job.
But they've been fairly clever at the moment in not mentioning AFLW. So
I think very clever.
At some stage it's got to come up.
It has to.
Now we get to generally speaking. This is the bit where I babble on a little
That's
bit.
right. That's your new segment, and
That's-
I've got cut one of my segments for this one. I'm
One
looking
of
forward
your
to it.
5
I'm
segments
looking
has
forward
been
to
cut,
it.
mate. We're just one of 5. You got the rest in there. Maxi Gawn's come out, captain of Melbourne. He's had a little bit of a different hairstyle, and he's copped a fair bit of criticism across from the media. And I reckon we need to take a look at ourselves and go, firstly, I don't think there's anything wrong, be he the captain or a player, expressing himself. I think there's nothing wrong with that. We saw the white footy boots come in.
That's right,
With
Carmen,
Sam Newman, Phil Carmen, those blokes. Then they were taboo, and now everybody's got coloured footies. Then we saw the
tattoos.
tattoos
I
come in.
remember Antrobus had this little tattoo there. We were scared of him.
He's in trouble.
And now it's just
Yep.
everyone's
now
got
everyone's
them.
got the sleeve, and that's okay.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, you can take it too far. I get that. Donald Dickey, I remember him coming out with
That's
the,
what the mohawk,
with the
wasn't
mohawk.
it?
And I know Choco Williams wasn't too happy about that, and that probably, but that was probably extreme. And in saying all of that, if that's what he wanted to do, that we've all watched the Jordan series, which is just finished. Phil Jackson never made any comment at any stage about Rodman's colour.
No,
in his
that's
hair.
right.
As long as he rebounded well, defended, the team was playing well, he didn't care what Rodman did.
That's the key to it.
His job was to do that. And I reckon as footballers, and you've been in it, and we'll talk to Bomber a little bit later on when he comes on the show, the players now are under enormous pressure, massive scrutiny. So they come to training, they're expected to train as well as they can. They've got 6 or 8 coaches watching them, correcting them. Then they get out and play the game, and they've got 50,000 fans, plus 1 million watching on TV that are watching everything they do. So if they make a mistake, then with the social media now, they're getting lambasted on that. We've got the mobile
It's ruthless,
phones.
isn't it?
It is
it's ruthless.
high-pressured business, and we're starting to see some of the players walk away from the game because they can't handle the pressure. It's affecting their health mentally.
And we hear about that all the time. I think there was a couple of players over the last couple of days having mental health issues at the moment.
Right.
So another 2 or 3 from probably last week.
So now Maxi Gawn wants to express himself as an individual, and he's getting pillared for doing that.
So I can't believe it because
leave him alone.
Yeah. What about Fifey putting in the men bun
The
and
man
a couple of Brownlows later? Everyone else is wearing them. I want to wear one as well.
I reckon as the media, I'm saying to you people, just be aware how much pressure these athletes are under. And if that's the way for Maxi to deal with it, he's been Melbourne's best player for the last 3 years.
He's been
I say, mate, if he wants to paint his toenails and wear an earring in his forehead, just play good footy.
He's been a superstar. He's been a superstar for the game.
I think sometimes
Melbourne needed him too. You know what I mean?
I agree.
Were just.
But there will be other players this year that will do something. Yeah. And the media, and we're part of it now, don't be parasites. Yeah. Don't feed on these guys. Let them express themselves.
And that's what they're doing.
Yeah. And if they don't play good footy, then talk about their footy, not about the way they dress.
Talk about the game.
Yeah. All right, we need to get to a break.
Okay.
There's a fair bit coming up. Stay with us.
Fantastic.
Yes, you're watching Before the Bounce, one of the greats in his time. Joined the Port Adelaide Footy Club, played for the Magpies, came in 78, 3 premierships, 3 best and fairest if you don't mind. Bomber. Bomber Clifford, our guest. Bomber, welcome to the show.
Thanks very much, Phil.
Now, mate, I think what people underestimate about your playing ability was that you made Anderson look like he was a bad player.
Actually, when I come to the club, if anything, when Greg started playing, I probably took him under his wing a little bit to make him feel a little bit more confident. I was always there if he got in any trouble because I knew he couldn't fight, that's for sure.
And let me tell you, Phil, he did. There was I went down for a low ball. Someone sort of nailed me at the Bay Oval. And I'm telling you, Bomber was all over it. It was absolutely fantastic. Even though I sort of made out I was concussed because I didn't want to get up and help him out, but he's always the first in there to help support his teammates, especially the young players. Yeah. And that's why you win 3 best and fairest and 3 premierships.
Hard to imagine he got concussed with a helmet like that compared to what you and I've got, mate?
Well, I had to look twice because there was a bit of blood in his lip and I thought it was lipstick.
Hey, mate, you played in a great era, mate, and you play with some great players.
I was very lucky, yep.
Who do you reckon your top 2 or 3?
For me, when I played, Craig Bradley was outstanding. I don't like to name best players, they didn't advertise the name for it because
150?
150 because it underwhelms the services of all the other blokes who played at the club.
Yes.
And the 150 or the 1,500 guys that played at Port Adelaide Club, they were the blokes actually formed and made the club and created the club that it is today. So to pull 150 out of it. So,
all right, we'll go the other way then. Toughest blokes you played against?
I don't know. See, I started off at Collingwood, so at the age of 16, so I was only a young buck, and one day we were playing Hawthorn, I got told to go to the back pocket and stand Lee Matthews. Wasn't overly happy with that at 16.
No, I would have thought.
He told me to stand behind him, and I certainly stood behind him.
So 16 must have been fantastic to play your first game for Collingwood at 16 years old.
It was great, and my first game was against Carlton.
Yep.
I'd originally come from a local club, Banyule, and we didn't have any. We had under 16s, didn't have any seniors, and from there, Banyule, I ended up going to Collingwood, trying out in the under 19s, and played 9 under 19 games, 9 reserve games, and a couple of senior games. And my first game was against Carlton, and it was halfway through the year, and it was a game of the season. They closed the gates at Victoria Park at 11 o'clock. And I remember walking up the race, I could hear this murmur, sounded like bees, but it was actually people talking. It was that loud. Wow. And we ended up winning the game, I think, by about 9 points. So the club, Collingwood, give us a bonus of $10. $10. You get a lot for $10 back then, mate, back in 1973. But
You came to Adelaide, you Port Adelaide in 78. You probably wouldn't have known too much about our competition back in those days. But what a club.
Very, very. I thank my lucky stars because when I was in Melbourne, Murray Whedon was my coach, and Murray had affiliations with West Adelaide. So initially, I was coming to West Adelaide, and Foster, who was coaching then, Foster Williams said West Adelaide had too many players the same calibre and skill or ability as I had, and Sandy Virgo, who happened to be Port Adelaide's recruiting officer. Found out about it, and he approached me, and thus I ended up at Port Adelaide. And I consider that the luckiest thing that's ever happened to me.
And best and fairest in his first year.
Which is good. But you play footy. I played for 2 reasons. One, I love footy more than anything in the world. It's the greatest game you could ever play. And B, I wanted to win premierships. So the accolades or the best and fairest you get along the way are great to have, but they're nothing compared to a premiership that you do with your mates and you're doing a game that you love so much.
It's one of the great things I love about footy and being around the footy clubs is that they have it better than any other sport. Much better than basketball and much better than soccer. And there is the camaraderie that forms amongst you guys that goes on years later. There's always a reunion and everyone turns up.
Yeah. I don't know what it was like for you guys that like playing basketball and that, but for me at Port Adelaide, it didn't really matter if we were 6 goals down or 7 goals down. There was a belief amongst the players we could win. And 9 times out of 10,
I agree. Look, there's no question.
Was it Johnny Cale? Was that his way?
I reckon John was certainly, he knew what to say. He was certainly a motivator and get the best out of you. But at the end of the day, it's up to the blokes as a group.
So true.
And to play at Port Adelaide, I think if you go back through the records, I think we won a premiership every 3.6 years.
Yeah.
So if you didn't win one the first year, there was one just around the corner. So it really wanted you, it made you stay at Port Adelaide Footy Club.
What about you around the club though? I mean, was that something you really worked on? Was this something it just naturally came to you? How you built camaraderie between everyone was just amazing. And I've never come across anyone again like what you used to do behind the scenes.
I think it's like going to war, really.
Yeah.
All your mates, you've got to have faith in your mates. You want your mates to support you. So trying to unite the team, trying to bring new players like yourself into the team and make them feel a part of it was a huge issue for me. And I endeavoured to do that as often as I possibly could.
Dave Granger, I mean, he retired just as I started, and just a fantastic player and a boy that was a mad Port supporter. You know, he was a bit of an idol, but everyone else hated him. What was he like? I mean, just tough guy, or just real honest.
Away from the club, Dave and I were terrific mates.
Yeah.
You know, a quieter sort of bloke away from the club. Loved fishing, loved shooting, loved hunting, loved camping, going away, and stuff like that. But once you stepped over that white line, win at all costs.
Tough, wasn't he?
I'm certainly glad he played for us, not anyone else. You know, that was one bloke I wouldn't have bagged. I can tell you that right now. But a great bloke, and still is today a great bloke.
Is he unfairly criticised? I mean, there's various stories, but just the point you made there. Once you step over the line, win at all costs. That seemed to be nearly the mantra for the Magpies, though, didn't it? Win at all costs.
Yeah, it was.
So he wasn't the isolated guy in the team.
Oh no way.
I don't think so. No. You know, sometimes you probably went out the realms of what we call fair.
Yes.
But don't we all do that at times? You know,
it was a era too, I suppose. Everyone seemed to have a player or two players in a team, and he was.
But whether you liked him or hated what the things he done, he was a terribly skilled player.
Yeah.
Yes.
And fast. I think he was underrated as far as his pace.
Yeah.
And a great mark. You know, and a good bloke to have.
Who do you reckon was the quickest player? Brucey Light? Would he be up in that group? Who was the quickest player you saw in your time at whatever?
Brucey Light. I had my first year with Bruce Light. He was super quick.
Yeah.
Peter Hoffner
was quick off that half-back line.
He was very quick off line.
Reynolds was quick.
Craig Bradley,
was very quick.
He was super quick. Even Ian Bradmore, he was really quick. So I know one thing I wasn't.
But you know,
I knew I was a fast when Tim Evans out-sprinted me. Way to go.
The thing they talk about in today's game is repeat speed.
Yep.
And the big focus is on we need these super quick athletes. So I keep saying, well, go and recruit Usain Bolt. How about getting the blokes that have got skills and the ones that can read? I'm not saying that speed's not the key issue, but it's interesting. The players that you mentioned were all quick, but they're all good players.
Oh, yeah. I think speed's a huge thing, you know. When I initially started, it was more stop-start, more head over the ball, more win the ball, one-on-one, stuff like that. These days, if you're quick and you've got a bit of skill and you're an outside player, I think you've got the world at your feet.
Do you like it? Do you like the style of the game now?
Not really.
No, it's interesting, isn't it?
I get disappointed because I know when we played and we kicked the ball on the forward line, we had faith and confidence that our blokes could win the one-on-ones, where we seem to these days only kick to blokes who are by themselves.
Yeah,
you know?
for sure. I mean, the days of...
Rather than have faith and trust in the blokes one-on-one. And I'd like to see more one-on-one stuff.
Yeah. Those centre forwards of Dwayne Russell or Taylor for Woodville, you know, when you had that strength and that play you can kick to and he can take a pack mark, that it's just a huge part of the game.
Well, even Powell, you know, why wouldn't you kick to Dixon? He's, you know, he seems to have all the attributes to be a great player. He's probably, in my eyes, he's probably underachieved a little bit.
What about some of your great moments at Port Adelaide? And I'm probably saying off the field now because I'm sort of thinking I can't say that story about you. I can't say that story about you. I can't say that story about you. I mean, Curtis's teeth. That time you grabbed those teeth and you.
Yeah. Well, we don't really want to go.
Well, we can't
say that story about.
What about some of your funny stories that you know?
I was saying tonight one of the greatest things I've ever seen was on a footy trip, and the guy I'm talking about is Daryl Growden. Daryl played a few games for us, Daryl, and had the ability that he hurt his knee, and his footy career was pretty much cut short.
Yeah, cut very short.
Back in them days, I was prone to having a smoke and stuff like that, and we were standing under a fan one day. There's a few of us around, and what we used to do every now and then was throw a sock into the fan and play like slips catches just to get our reflexes up like that. And I was standing there, I lit up the fag, and Daryl Brown said, "Oh, give me a fag, can you, Bomber?" So I just out of mucking around, I just threw the cigarette into the fan, and it shot out so quickly, and Daryl went, "Thanks very much." And it just went straight between his two fingers. He put it down and said, "Thank you very much." It was like, all the blokes looked up, we just applauded. It was like it was rehearsed. You know, it was one of the greatest things. You could do it a million times.
You would have a lot of great memories, though.
I've got a lot of great memories.
You put a lot into your football. I know a lot on the ground, but as I said, you've also taken a lot away as a person that put friendships and first and relationships first.
Yeah, I probably now when you're talking about like the issues that some players have and stuff like that, we tend to these days as you get a bit older not stay in contact with your friends as much as you really should. Where a phone call away could make the difference between you hurting yourself and not hurting yourself.
That's a good point.
So what I try and do now is ring my old mates that I played footy with every now and then.
Yeah.
There you go, just to say hello, everything all right? You know, they can say mind your own business or whatever. But it's only a phone call.
Yeah, I know.
It
Yeah.
doesn't cost you nothing.
Yeah.
Just to say hello.
Yeah.
And it doesn't cost you nothing to find out what their phone number is.
Yeah.
So it's always good to do that.
But that was your nature, though. I mean, I could ring up Craig Bradley, I could ring up Martin Les, I could ring up Dwayne Russell. They say, and I said, I've just sort of
got any big names?
They
Have you got
say,
any big names?
I say, we love
We
him.
just ring
We love him.
He's
We
looking at
love
a low
him.
profile player. Didn't hear your name mentioned in the once,
No.
did you?
But I rang those guys and asked them about
Yeah.
Bomber.
Yeah.
They would just say, love him, love him, love
Yeah.
him. Because of what he'd done off the ground to make the club so strong as a bunch of guys.
Yeah. End of playing finishes.
Yeah.
What's the year? You know, a lot of the talk now is players when they finish the game, what happens to them?
Yeah.
How do you find the year after you finish, that transition out of the game?
Well, when I finished playing at Portsmouth in 1986, I went and coached Amateur League up at Greenacres. I played in 1987 under Terry Hyman.
Yep.
I think Terry coached Henley Beach for a while. And then the following year I coached at Greenacres and we won a flag in Divi 1.
Yep.
Which is the only flag Greenacres have won in Divi 1, so
Yep.
that's a huge success for us.
Wow.
I stayed there for a little while. And then I went up to Queensland. I lived in Cairns for a while and played a bit of footy up at North Cairns.
Okay. Bit warm up there.
Very warm, mate.
Yeah.
So kept thin and lean and whatever.
Yep.
And then come back here and did a little bit of coaching again, but I principally followed my son Adam. Adam had he went down to Port Adelaide for a while and they thought he had quite a bit of ability. He had him 6'6", I suppose, 6'5", 6'6". And he come up to me, Dad, and he said, one day and he said, Dad, I don't want to play at Ports anymore. I said, why not? He said, I'm not enjoying it. And I always said the same thing to everybody. If you don't enjoy your footy,
Don't do it.
don't do it.
Yep.
So he said, I just want to go and play footy with me mates.
Yep.
And I will go and play footy with your mates. Because if he had stayed at Port where he wasn't enjoying his footy, it would have showed. And he wouldn't have played the footy he was capable of.
Yeah.
And I think now Adam's won 3 competition awards and rah.
Yeah.
Now he's got a family of his own and he's got a little tackoo. He's 6
Mate,
years
your grandfather.
Yeah, well, Abel's, he's got a daughter Sienna, a son Abel. Abel's only 6, but comes up to about here on me, so he's going to be a giant. So, and I've got some other kids up in Queensland, so
Life's pretty good, mate.
life's pretty good, you know. So 7 grandkids all together, and they're all
Wow.
great kids, and mum and dads are good, so everything's good for me at the present time.
What have you changed? Anything across the journey now? If you can reflect back, is there anything you would have changed in your career?
No, not at all.
So
Maybe
most of-
not. I've had 3 wives, so maybe cut back on. No, I can't.
I'm talking about your playing career.
No, I was playing back then too. Yeah. But I've been very lucky. You wouldn't change a thing. Every mistake you make, you learn by it.
Yeah, so true.
And you know, improve. If anything, I wouldn't work for Reg. He doesn't pay me enough money. But he's a great mate to go along with it.
Bomber Clifford, our special guest. Stay with us. Still a bit more to come on the show. Yeah, you're watching Before the Bounce. Time to get to a game of the state, of course, brought to us by Almalda Station, which is fantastic. Down there in the Flinders Ranges, mate. You get down there, it's a beautifully renovated cottage. You can go down there, sneak away with your partner, mate. If you want to, you can take the kids.
It's what you've got to do. Go and visit these places. Next school holidays, you know, let's get your camper trailer and get to these sites because they are breathtaking.
Yeah, they are, mate. Now, I want to talk about country footy. And one of the things I love about the country footy is the blokes that have played in the SNFL or the AFL, even in the VFL, that have grown up in our state, then come back and play in the footy. So Mark Rashudo went home to...
Yeah, he went
back to Waikerie for a little while. Tony Modra had a bit of a run with Encounter Bay there. Graham Johncott with Port Lincoln.
That's right.
You'd have a couple. Yeah, no?
We got Tony Simons.
Oh, yeah.
Big Jimmy West.
Yep.
Rossi Gibson. That was an interesting one because Harvey Glenelg actually went to, I think it was Victor Harbour.
Yep.
And I think Ross kicked about 60 goals one game. I mean, they were absolutely smashing them. And I think it was Port Elliot Gawler versus Victor Harbour, and so they can really add value to you.
Well,
but
I catch up with Sam Jacobs from time to time. Big Source is keen before he retires. He's going to go back and play where he originally came from. So
it's fantastic.
I think
isn't it?
they give it back. It's terrific. In saying
Paul
that, though,
Northeast, you got George Fiarchi's went back, but he went into the country and played some great footy, and it's wonderful. It is wonderful.
If you're watching the show and you've got a couple of names that you'd like us to mention that have come back and given a bit back to country footy, let us know. We'll give them a plug on the show. Big thing in the country footy, they're bleeding like everybody else is right now, and some of the clubs are relying heavily on the generous sponsors that they've got. Some of the players we talked about it earlier in the show, getting $1,000 a game.
Oh, marquee players, it's a lot of money, and that's what they're getting.
So you kind of go, can the country footy survive through this Corona period? I mean, they seem to be able to. It's such a great passion down there, but
it's a community.
Someone's got to take a bit of a hit, don't they?
It is a community, and they're very passionate about their footy side being successful. And so you quite often get farmers donating cattle and sheep and all that sort of stuff, then they settle off at the end of the year, and there's their little pot to play some players. So there is other ways other than just sponsorships in the country. But as we know, sponsorship dollars tight everywhere, and not everyone's doing incredibly well.
We needed to keep going though, because we've had some amazing players come out of the country. Some of our best players, best players the states had. Be it
Russell Ebert,
be it Crows, country kids.
We go right back to Barry Robberin and Russell Ebert, and Neil Curley.
Yep.
I mean, they're all from the country, and then we look at Mark Rashuda. The list is so long. It's just crazy. I mean, it's crazy, and it's very, very important that they understand that it all starts from grassroots.
Yep.
And it's to give the marquee player $1,000, but it's that there is going to give us the champions in the SNFL and the AFL football of tomorrow.
Yep.
That is critical.
And they'll get it back at the end.
And then they'll get it back. And I think that's wonderful.
Hey, mate, we have to go. It's been a great show.
It's been fantastic.
He's a beauty, isn't he?
And I'm telling you, I could tell 50 stories, and it would be beat. Everyone would be beat out.
Not on the show.
They can't do it on the show. So we're going to have some fun after we wrap this up. Been fantastic.
Time for us to go, and always good to catch up with you, mate. Hope you've enjoyed the show, everybody. See you next week.